With me today, Frederick Stroebel, Head of Human Resources, Learning and Development at Sanlam Personal Finance, and also official ambassador to the Corporate Games, which is the reason you're with us today. How come Sanlam and the Corporate Games got together? What initiated it?
I think the whole challenge is to consistently find solutions to engage your employees, and we saw it as an excellent opportunity to make use of this, to engage our employees. The whole principle regarding engagement of employees is two components in terms of getting the energy levels of the people that they come into the company to maintain that energy level. And secondly, to also get the emotions that people come to work, to make sure that that's a positive emotion that they carry inside the workplace.
So you see it as an important point in your daily practice that your employees are healthy, and not only of body but of mind as well, and it's teamwork involved.
Definitely. It is an important component. I mean, it is all about making sure that you have the productivity in the company, and it is managing your workforce, and we're a great believer in making sure that we invest in our people and maintain that wellness of them.
You've already explained part of the model that you've adopted as your modus operandi at Sanlam. What would you recommend other companies to do? What kind of model would you like to see them working on so there's more and more participation in the games?
I think if I can just refer to the model again, the model is based on two components, and the one is really on high activation and then pleasantness at the workplace. If you go for high activation, you will find that people are enthusiastic at work, excited, they're happy, it's a pleasant working environment. But if you find that the contrast to that, you might find people that's workaholic, or you will find burnout at your workplace. So the important thing is to get the balance right in the working environment, not just a once-off, but on a sustainable manner.
You've talked about the morality of the health side of things, but what about the productivity? Does it increase the productivity in the workplace by taking part in these kind of games?
Well, in 2010, we started an initiative, and it was really the first sort of formal initiative. And the first resistance almost from management was exactly that question: how would it affect the productivity? And we attempted to measure it during the time that we had the specific sporting initiative. And we found that, as a matter of fact, to the contrary, people were very productive during that time. Service level agreements did not drop. Absenteeism was actually better. The staff morale was much better because people were feeling the positive enthusiasm, energy and emotions in the workplace.
I'm going to just butt in here because I feel that I haven't asked this question. How did you come to hear about the Corporate Games? How did you become involved in it initially?
The Corporate Games, and once again, I think it stemmed out that we were one of the companies known that we had a specific sporting initiative. In 2010, when it was the World Cup Soccer, we tried to catch that effervescence, that feeling of good spirit that was in South Africa. If you can manage to bring that spirit into your company and to maintain it in your company, and we managed to succeed in 2010. After that success, we immediately in 2011 had another initiative, and we realized that you can't just have soccer because there's a limited amount of people that play soccer. In 2011, we had netball and soccer indoor, so we also involved a lot of more females. And then when the opportunity of the Corporate Games, when we were approached to get involved, we definitely saw this opportunity, because the benefit of the Corporate Games is it doesn't just allow for one specific sport. It actually allows for 20 different sporting types. Everybody is not involved in action soccer. You have lawn bowls, you will have tennis, you will have rowing. So if you have a corporate organization, the spirit of the company is actually similar to the nature of sport. So you need to allow for people at all levels in the company to be involved. That also implies at all ages of the company to be involved.
And of course all colours, class and creed, and it must have caused a cross-pollination of classes, creeds and colours to mix with each other in a sporting environment that can be carried over possibly to the office.
Definitely. we've had in some areas a lot of formal academic theoretical approaches by providers to get team building going and diversity sessions. But none of those was so successful in terms of what we've achieved with people playing sport together. Because sport, as I mentioned, is really just, it captured the spirit of the company too. And people at senior, junior levels could play together. So definitely we've achieved a lot of successes.
The corporate games situation, as far as I can recall, started about 24 years ago.
That's correct.
Yet we only got on board a few years ago. Why do you think it took so long for us to get involved?
What a lot of people don't realize was that we had corporate games in 1994 in Johannesburg. It was the international corporate games, so the best players for the different countries actually participated in this international event. And that games was opened by Mr. Mandela. And the franchise actually only came to South Africa 2012. So that was the first time to get the opportunity to be involved.
How can we get companies to involve and encourage their staff to partake in the... I mean, it is basically a sporting event, isn't it?
Well, definitely. And I think once again, if you look at the spirit of a company and how close it is to the nature of sport, it creates a common platform for people to face a common goal. You get employees at all levels, that it's a great equalizing factor too. So we would definitely encourage other companies, if we look at the benefits that we've achieved in the 2012 corporate event, we will definitely encourage other companies to also participate.
How much effort did you put in as Sanlam before the games? Because you've got teams participating
Correct.
from within your own company. And I'm not going to ask you to be biased and ask you who's going to win and who's not going to win. But how did you do last time, for instance?
Maybe the first component in terms of how much effort, the surprising thing is, and it surprised everybody in the company, was the fact that you went out to the company and offered a wide variety of sport. We were surprised at the talent we had inside the company. You're not aware of the fact that there's provincial players in the company, provincial coaches in your company. So once again, the sport gives people to show other talents that they have in the company to contribute, except for the regular job that they perform every day. So definitely, we were surprised at the energy levels that it created in the company, driving itself and building a momentum. So yes, once we saw all the talent, we made sure that we got the best performers, and then that actually created a lot of our successes last year. Lawn bowls, we took all the medals, and a lot of people were surprised that lawn bowls were actually one of the biggest entries we received for that. So yes, we won most of the medals at the corporate games last year.
So you were successful, that's spurred you on to do it again and again and again, is it? So now you need competition from other large corporates.
Definitely. Sanlam is all about challenging other people. We have a high performance culture. We believe in investing in our people, and we want to be an employer of choice. And that's part of what we want to offer our
What about
employees.
the downside? There must be a downside to this, i.e. injuries.
You do get injuries, like in any sport, but I think the positive far outweighs those injuries. It creates a lot of opportunity for people that was not active to suddenly realize what level they are performing. Our Sanlam corporate company group also has a Be Well approach or initiative, and it created a lot more awareness for people to ensure that they maintain a healthy lifestyle.
You're sponsors of this, or co-sponsors of this, amongst other companies of the games. Do you see this as a long-term involvement?
We definitely see the positive reaction of the people, so I think that will depend to what extent we will continue supporting it. But if we see it also as an opportunity to actually showcase the talent that we have in the company, it also gives us to build the brand outside. So it brings out the strong brand of Sanlam on the playing field.
I was coming to that point about what the plus side for Sanlam is, and its brand exposure, isn't it?
Correct.
So if you were talking now to would-be people who are sitting on the sidelines, corporates, would you say come on board because the exposure is magnificent?
Undoubtedly. Once again, I come back to the venue next year. If you see it's going to be a prominent venue in terms of the V&A waterfront, and the exposure you get from outside people, but also outside companies. Even feedback we receive from other teams, spontaneous feedback regarding how the Sanlam people, Sanlam Personal Finance people, other people in the Sanlam group actually exhibited the values of the company on the playing field in playing a fair game.
Well, congratulations on being innovative. And on a last recap now, what would you be saying if you could talk to every corporate leader in this country about the games? What would you be asking them to do, and what would you be saying to them?
Well, I think I will ask them, you must think of the implication if you do not participate. So it's, this is really an opportunity to rally your company, to get involved, and once again, in a sustainable manner, because how we've set it up this year, in contrast to last year, where last year people probably saw it as a once-off event over a weekend, we've now set it up as working towards the event on the 6th to the 9th of June this year. And now for each specific sport, we are playing leagues. And the best people, such as the Olympics, only the qualifying people will be selected to go and represent the company. So we encourage other big corporates to actually start leagues and send their best people to compete against us.